Hello rheumatology fans, welcome back to the blog. We've got a blog read again this week. Psoriatic Arthropathy is the title. So we're going to get straight into it. And certainly psoriatic arthritis is not easy. Today, as I record this, this will go out on the channel's couple of days time, but I had a paper brought to my attention by Martin Thomas on Twitter. He's First Contact Physio, which is open access, and you'll find the link in the blog post. If you're listening to this as audio only, then you just need to head to my website and you'll be able to find the link to it. But it's a very interesting read. It speaks to a lot of the challenges we face when trying to pick out psoriatic arthritis and associated conditions in the sea of MSK presentations. I've tried to create some learning pointers in this blog, and obviously I'll read them out to you in audio. So please do consider heading to the shop, rheumatology.physio/shop, and you can find lots of resources. I've also released some 2022 courses as well, so you can come and see me. There's one in Birmingham and an online one, and I think Exeter as well. So wherever you are, you'll be able to come and see me, and we can talk all about rheumatology for hours on end. It's fascinating. Get a really good response to those. Really enjoy doing them. Loads of difficult, challenging questions, and we really talk about clinical application in the clinic, suitable for FCPs, MSK therapists, or you name it. It's worth coming along, in my opinion. Obviously, I'm biased a little bit, but you know. Don't forget, if you're watching this on YouTube, you can subscribe and get the audio for this on any channel that you like to listen to podcasts, or the flip side is also true. If you're listening in audio, then you can, of course, watch me read these blogs out. You can watch my little face, and you just need to go to YouTube and search Rheumatology Physio and subscribe there, and you'll get the notifications. Feedback is greatly appreciated. Any further reading similar to this, then please do send it my way. You can email me, quite happy to have that, jack.march@choosehealth.co.uk, or there is a contact form on the website as well. So let's get into it. And please remember, this blog is not a replacement for clinical reasoning, and if you're unsure, get advice. Psoriatic arthritis is very often associated with psoriasis, approximately 75%-ish of the time at onset. Great. So we just wait for people with psoriasis to enter our clinic, and boom, off we send them to rheumatology. No, unfortunately, this is a fail. Approximately 2% of the population has psoriasis, and of those, between 6 and 48% will develop an associated arthritis, depending on how you define psoriasis and how you define the arthritis. Coupled with this, there are various phenotypes that are starting to be explored in the literature. These include, but are not limited to, peripheral spondyloarthritis, axial spondyloarthritis, peripheral synovitis, a combination of two, or even all three. So the peripheral spondyloarthritis, for example, characterized by enthesis issues, so insertional tendon problems. This paper that we're talking about today goes further into the difficulties as well. Early psoriatic arthritis is likely to present with joint arthralgia and fatigue as the main symptoms, which are very common, very non-specific symptoms. Think of all the things that might cause those. Compare this with axial spondyloarthritis or rheumatoid arthritis that often have associated joint stiffness or swelling, and then it becomes quite easy to see how we might struggle with these psoriatics. The whole paper's premise is that dermatologists are struggling, and it advises the assistance of a rheumatologist in their clinics to help them differentiate out those with psoriatic arthritis. And that leaves me thinking, us MSK therapists, we're not skin specialists, nor are we inflammatory arthritis experts. So we are definitely going to struggle picking these out, and certainly I would say everybody is going to be able to be doing better at these assessments. So one final compounding challenge is a lack of overt biomarkers for psoriatic arthritis. So HLA-B27 is sometimes related, but usually when the symptoms are axial, and anti-CCP is of no use at all. So then when you go, okay, so the biomarkers aren't really going to help, and also ESR-CRP about 40% of the time may or may not be raised, may be raised. in which case we're really shooting in the dark, unfortunately, with things to help us. So let's for a minute just agree that this is a challenge. I don't think anybody's going to disagree with me. What should we do about this in the MSK world? Below, and in a second, I've listed some things I want you to consider. It might be you look into it further, and I do have some associated further information, which I will point out as we get to it. Or it might be that next time someone attends your clinic, you go seek a colleague to bounce some ideas off, maybe you write a case study, so on and so forth. So point number one, have a high index of suspicion in those with psoriasis. Make sure you dig deep into inflammatory symptoms, history and family history. Are they getting joint stiffness? Have they had joint swelling? Has any of their family had any types of arthritis that you might be interested in? You need to check their nails, and I have a blog specifically about this called Psoriatic Nails, which you can find on the website as well. Next point, does the chronicity of symptoms fit with the proposed differential diagnosis? Chronic tendon issues or issues at multiple sites might be a clue to underlying inflammatory pathology. In back pain with concomitant psoriasis, make sure you ask about history of insertional tendon issues as well. So this is where we're getting that blend of different phenotypes as a possibility. Don't perceive negative inflammatory markers as ruling out psoriatic arthritis as a cause for symptoms. As I mentioned a minute ago, more of those patients are going to have negative inflammatory markers than positive, and we can't use biomarkers. There aren't any that are going to work very well. Consider diagnostic ultrasound to look at insertional sites. So if you've got someone with psoriasis and an insertional heel pain, as an example, then it might well be that diagnostic ultrasound is a really good use of resources to have a look and see if those are inflammatory in nature. You can use the SPADE tool. Just head to spadetool.co.uk, or the Screendom, which again is on my website, created by Paul Kerwan, which reminds you of all the questions you need to ask to consider a spondyloarthritis and to aid your clinical reasoning. I could, of course, keep going with the list. I always advise people spend some time in rheumatology to see inflammatory patients, what they look like, what they sound like, what they smell like, and how the rheumatologist might assess them. But also you could do very well spending some time in dermatology to see skin psoriasis types and the nail bed changes. These are all different and probably outside of the traditional MSK sort of scope of practice. Let's not forget, a lot of publicity in recent years has gone to axial spondyloarthritis, and let's not forget that peripheral types exist as well. Now, as I talked about in my previous blog, not only do we want to make sure we refer patients to rheumatology when they need to go, we also don't want to overburden rheumatology by over-referring. So thank you for, if you are reading, then reading this. If you are listening, and if you are watching, then hello, thank you for watching. I do hope that you challenge yourself to dig into psoriatic arthritis a little bit more, starting with this paper. It's going to come into your clinic and it's going to be difficult for you to recognise, so let's get ahead of it. Please do check out my courses and other materials for more information, as well as the blogs we've already talked about today. And I'll see you out on the next blog.